Here's a fun fact about New Jersey that nobody who lives here wants to say out loud. This entire state is a pressure valve. New York City gets too expensive. The overflow sloshes across the Hudson, and a town that was minding its own business for 90 years suddenly has a brewery, a $2,400 studio apartment, and a guy with a nose ring walking a Bernedoodle past a bodega. It happened to Hoboken. It happened to Jersey City. It happened to Asbury Park. And it is about to happen to 10 more towns, whether they're ready or not. And now it's not just North Jersey. Philadelphia's priced-out crowd is running the same play on the South Jersey side. Return-to-office mandates drag the remote workers back within commuting range, which means anything with a train, a yard, and a pulse is now a target. So before your hometown turns into a sweet green, let me give you the recipe, because the towns about to pop are not random. They all check the same 5 boxes. 1, an expensive neighbor right next door leaking money. 2, a train, light rail, or ferry into New York or Philly. 3, cheaper housing with character or big empty land to build on. 4, a development pipeline already breaking ground. And 5, the first wave of new businesses showing up, the canary in the gentrification coal mine. We're grading all 10 against that. Let's go. Bayonne is what happens when Jersey City gets too expensive and people look at a map and go, well, what's that long, skinny thing south of it? That long, skinny thing is Bayonne, and it has spent its entire existence as a punchline wedged between Staten Island and Jersey City. Close enough to both to absorb the insults, far enough to be forgotten. Those days are numbered. Check the boxes. Expensive neighbor, Jersey City, where a 1-bedroom now costs more than a house in most of America. Transit, the Hudson-Bergen light rail runs straight up the spine of the town, and as of late 2025, they broke ground on an actual ferry terminal to Manhattan. Not proposed, not in talks, ground broken, concrete poured. Cheap housing? Bayonne is wall-to-wall, sturdy 2-family homes that cost a fraction of anything across the city line. And the land. The old military ocean terminal, a 430-acre peninsula that used to ship tanks off to actual wars, is being redeveloped into a waterfront with thousands of units, a 218-room hotel, retail, the whole machine. There's already a cruise port out there sending people to the Bahamas. Bayonne checks all 5 boxes, and honestly, its days as a blue-collar working-class city are likely numbered. Hackensack, locally, lovingly, the Sack, is the county seat of Bergen County, the richest county in New Jersey, and Hackensack is one place in it that normal people can still sort of afford. For 20 years, it was the city everybody drove through to get to the mall or the courthouse and never thought about again. That era is over. Downtown is in the middle of the biggest transformation it's had in decades. Roughly 4,000 new residential units coming, plus parks, plazas, performing arts space, and the kind of streetscape glow-up that makes real estate people emotional. They converted Main Street to 2-way traffic, which sounds boring, until you realize that's the exact move every gentrifying downtown makes right before the wine bars land. The old Record newspaper headquarters is now the Print House. 696 units, a rooftop pool, and a drive-through Starbucks. Because nothing says we've arrived like a drive-through Starbucks. They're even turning the dead Sears into apartments and a hotel. 2 NJ Transit train stations, highways pointing in every direction, and prices still sitting below the Bergen County average. The Sack spent decades setting up. Now it's about to be a city that costs you $3,000 a month in rent. Now we go south because Philadelphia plays this game too. Glassboro is a small Gloucester County town whose entire destiny got hijacked by a university that refused to stop growing. Rowan University doubled its student population to around 18,000, decided it needed somewhere to put all those people, and instead of just building dorms, it built a downtown. That's Rowan Boulevard, a roughly $500 million third-of-a-mile corridor connecting the campus to the old downtown, lined with apartments, a Barnes & Noble, a Marriott, a Chickies and Pete's slinging crab fries, and a wood-fired Italian spot called La Scala's Fire that locals will fight you over. A decade ago, this was blighted houses and trash-filled lots. Now it's the only thing in South Jersey people actually call a college town. And Rowan isn't done. They just announced a $690 million West Campus project, a whole wellness village, and opened New Jersey's first veterinary school in 2025. When a university starts opening vet schools and dropping $690 million, the town around it does not stay cheap. Glassboro doesn't have an NYC train. Sure, it doesn't need one. It's got a growth engine with a marching band. Rahway is the one on this list that's been quietly running the gentrification playbook so long it should be teaching a class. It sits right on the Northeast Corridor, the good train, the fast one, so you can be in Manhattan in about half an hour or at the shore in an hour. That location is a cheat code, and Rahway figured it out 20 years ago. So it leaned all the way into being an arts town. The Union County Performing Arts Center, the Hamilton Stage, a gallery space, an entire official arts district, and they just announced a new outdoor amphitheater to tie it all together. The city literally turned down an apartment proposal to build a public amenity instead, which is the kind of confidence you only have when the towers are already going up around you. And they are. Mixed-use buildings keep rising right by the train plaza. Units stacked on retail, stacked on parking decks. Expensive neighbors, leaking buyers, the NEC train, a downtown reinventing itself, cranes in the air, restaurants and galleries already open. Rahway checks every box twice. It's not the next Hoboken. It's further along than that. Get in before the rest of Union County catches up. Bloomfield's whole pitch is genius in its simplicity. It's Montclair, but you can afford it. Montclair, for the uninitiated, is the Essex County town where every former Brooklyn family fled when the brownstone got too small, artisanal everything, a median home pushing $1 million, and a strong opinion about your parenting. Bloomfield sits right next door, shares a border, shares a vibe, and costs dramatically less. Better yet, it has Midtown Direct, the one-seat ride straight into New York Penn Station. No transfers, no Hoboken shuffle. That single rail feature has minted more North Jersey gentrification than anything else in state history. You get a real downtown in Bloomfield Center. You get gorgeous older housing stock with porches and detail that new construction can't fake. And you get to tell people you live near Montclair without the panic attack at closing. The pattern here is almost lazy. The expensive town fills up, the spillover lands one town over, and the one town over has a direct train. Bloomfield has been on a slow simmer for years. The boil is coming. People who got priced out of Montclair are not moving back to Brooklyn. They're moving exactly this far and no further. Kearny is the last honest deal in Hudson County, and Hudson County knows it. While Hoboken and Jersey City turned into glass and money skyline towns where a parking spot costs more than a car, Kearny sat over on the western edge by the Meadowlands doing its own thing. A proud, working-class, soccer-obsessed town, so Scottish, Portuguese, Brazilian, they call it Soccer Town, USA, and absolutely mean it. But here's the math nobody can hide from. It's Hudson County. It's minutes from Jersey City, with buses running straight into Port Authority. And there's land, big, developable, post-industrial Meadowlands edgeland sitting right next to the most expensive county in the state. That combination does not stay a secret. There's been talk for years about extending the Hudson-Bergen light rail into Kearny, and the day that stops being talk is the day every two-family home in town gets a brand new digit on its price tag. Kearny is the foothold. It's where you buy when Jersey City is a fantasy, and Bayonne already got expensive while you were thinking about it. It's affordable right now for exactly one reason. Nobody's finished noticing. Give it a minute. Rutherford is what people picture in their heads when they fantasize about leaving the city but keeping the city. A walkable little Bergen County borough with a genuine Main Street-style downtown on Park Avenue. Coffee shops, restaurants, the kind of place where you can live without a car and feel smug about it. It's about 8 miles from Manhattan with a train that gets you in fast once you make the hop through Secaucus. And the buyers have already arrived. This isn't a prediction. Hudson County and NYC refugees are actively showing up in Rutherford right now. The people who did the Hoboken thing had a second kid and realized they wanted a yard and a driveway without moving to the actual suburbs where you have to drive 9 minutes to buy milk. Rutherford hands them walkability plus square footage, which is the exact unicorn everyone's hunting. The housing stock is charming, older, and, for Bergen County, still relatively reasonable, which will not last. When a town is genuinely walkable, genuinely close, and genuinely nice, the only variable left is how fast word travels. In Rutherford, it's traveling fast. Now we get into the gambles. South Amboy is a sleepy Middlesex County waterfront town on Raritan Bay that on paper has no business being on a next Hoboken list. Except it just got the one thing that changes everything: a ferry to New York. The ferry isn't a rumor. Service to Midtown, Downtown, and Wall Street already launched, and they're finishing a permanent $30+ million terminal with 750 parking spots and a 2-story building with a restaurant on top. The developers didn't wait around either. There's already a $500 million waterfront revitalization underway with luxury rental communities, Station Bay and the Pearl at Station Bay, sitting right next to the terminal and the train station. About a 50-minute boat ride to the city from a town most New Jerseyans couldn't find on a map. So why is it still speculative? Because ferries live and die on ridership, and South Amboy is making a massive bet that enough people want a scenic commute to fill those boats and those buildings. If it works, this sleepy little bay town becomes a waterfront destination overnight. If it works, that's the gamble. But the chips are already on the table. Dunellen is the longest shot on this list, and I kind of love it for that. It's a 1 square mile borough in Middlesex County with about 7,300 people, an old railroad town past, and the personality of a place nobody's thought about since the factories closed, which is exactly why it's interesting. Because Dunellen is quietly turning itself into a transit village, New Jersey's 26th official one. And developers have moved in hard. One outfit alone has put 500+ units on the market, with another 500 in the pipeline. The big one is the Dunellen station, built on the old art color factory brownfield right by the train. Nearly 200 market-rate apartments, more affordable units, 150 townhomes, plus a bank and retail, all in that brick, transit-inspired architecture that screams starter kit gentrification. Here's the catch, and it's a real one. The Raritan Valley line doesn't give you a one-seat ride to New York yet. You have to change trains at Newark. That asterisk is the only thing keeping this place cheap. But there's been a long, slow push to get direct Manhattan service on that line, and if it ever lands, every quiet little Raritan Valley town reprices instantly. It's a bet on a train upgrade. High risk, high reward. And we end at the shore, because the shore plays its own version of this exact game. The dominoes already fell in Monmouth County. Asbury Park got cool, then expensive. Belmar has been a hot spot for decades. Towns like Spring Lake, Seagirt, and Deal are generationally wealthy. Now the money's looking one town over, and one town over is Bradley Beach. Bradley Beach is a tiny Monmouth County borough right near Asbury Park. And Belmar, same ocean, same boardwalk, smaller, quieter, and until very recently cheaper. That cheaper part is evaporating in real time. The median home is already pushing $900,000 to over $1 million, up double digits year over year, and roughly 38% of the housing was built before 1939, which means charming old beach cottages on small lots, which is precisely the stuff that gets bought, gutted, and flipped into million-dollar weekend houses. It's already happening up and down the blocks. And it's got everything the formula wants: a red-hot expensive neighbor next door, walkable beach town bones, old character housing getting snapped up, and the overflow crowd that can't afford Asbury anymore washing right in. Bradley Beach is the next shore domino, and dominoes don't fall slowly. If you've been eyeing a place down there, the window is closing while you scroll. So that's the list. 10 New Jersey towns standing exactly where Hoboken stood right before it stopped being affordable forever. Some are sure things with cranes already in the sky. Some are bets on a ferry or a train that may or may not deliver. All of them follow the same 5-box recipe, and all of them are cheaper today than they will be the day you finally decide to act. Drop your town in the comments and tell me if it's next. I'll tell you if you're right.